In today's economy, there is serious concern about where to place capital for maximum earnings and growth. Many factors are causing the wild stock market swings. It is not known when markets might stabilize and grow as in years past. Smart money invests in producing that which has strong, consistent demand, something everyone depends upon, consistently, urgently, relentlessly.
Oil and gas is in every single thing that we do today.
We need oil and gas to run our economy.
Airline flights, trains, heating.
Transportation, get to each other, it's how we produce some of our clothes, plastics, it's in every single industry.
The world would be completely thrown back to the Stone Age without petroleum.
There's no way we can rid our dependence of oil. And I'm happy to see oil at a good price where it's encouraging lots of exploration.
The oil and gas industry is going to be a vital part of running world economies for decades to come.
It's a huge part of the future of our country.
It's truly a market-driven commodity.
I think oil prices will stay high in the next 5 or 10 years.
We don't control it here in the States. The Saudis don't control it. It's controlled by supply and demand. And when supply's up, prices are down. When demand exceeds supply, prices are going to go up. It's as simple as that.
In 1993, Daniel Reed Cook received his PhD in theoretical plasma physics from the University of California, Berkeley. In 1994, Dr. Cook completed postdoctoral research in cognitive neuroscience from the University of California, San Diego. He developed complex computer algorithms for the detailed analysis of brainwaves. His work involved event resolution imaging technology, called ERI, that detected minute patterns in brainwaves not previously discernible. Dr. Cook has been awarded a number of United States patent licenses. In 2003, his signal interpretation engine was awarded a patent.
Oil and gas is obviously getting harder to find as we progress down the road because we found the big easy stuff back in the 20s and 30s. The seismic industry started rolling in the late 30s. We developed a means to reduce risk. We've refined that greatly. 3D seismic was a big step in refining and reducing that risk.
And seismic is basically a sophisticated ultrasound. If any of you have ever been in a doctor's office, you've taken an ultrasound, it works off of sound waves and it shows what's happening to the layers inside the body. Well, seismic is a giant ultrasound of what's happening down in the ground.
It's an indication of the rock's acoustic properties and how they send back energy.
And so the goal is to get on top of those structural highs or anomalies that can present accumulation points for the hydrocarbon.
Beginning in 2002, Dr. Cook began research to transfer the computerized ERI technology from brainwave analysis to seismic wave analysis.
Dan and I talked about his technology. Dan's a Berkeley mathematician and physicist and had done research in brainwave technology. It was really, brainwaves have so much signal that they're kind of undecipherable. They all look like sine waves, and he's been able to tell when a barbiturate's introduced into the system, what its effect is, how long it lasts in the brain, and that's really just from having really powerful mathematical algorithms that can sort specific pieces of information out.
Dr. Cook and his team have adapted the ERI brainwave software to analyze the complex patterns of 3D seismic surveys in oil fields.
And he said, you know what, we can do the seismic waves. They don't know they're not brain waves, they're just sine waves too.
His work centered on pattern recognition of two kinds of seismic surveys, those from the area around oil wells with high yields of oil, and those from the area around wells with low yields of oil. In tests, the sophisticated ERI technology more than doubled previous methods of oil reservoir identification accuracy.
We've used it, we put it to the test with Tom Brown. We had a 3D in Washakie part of Green River Basin, on trend with really highly productive almond bar sands. Those are Cretaceous barrier bar sands, wonderful reservoirs. The up-dip edges have hydrocarbons. The down-dip edges have too much water and don't produce. If you get too far up-dip, you're missing the sand. So we just set up a system on a 3D, sand versus no sand, and I made cutouts around the wells with the help of Tricon Geophysics. Dan did his analysis, and it worked wonderfully for sand, no sand. And actually we did the same thing for wells that were in the barrier bar, commercial hydrocarbon wells versus non-commercial hydrocarbon wells.
In 2005, Dr. Cook received a patent for his technology specifically adapted for the ERI pattern recognition in the interpretation of seismic data from oil fields. His petroleum exploration and prediction apparatus and method are the key to the increased accuracy of productive oil well drilling.
And I've seen Dan's technology applied to other places in Texas, in reefs. There were reefs that were hydrocarbon bearing and reefs that were water bearing, and nobody could tell the difference on 3D seismic or 2D seismic. And this event resolution imaging technology can differentiate between oil-charged reefs and water-charged reefs. So I think it has great application in industry.
3D seismic data can be used to reduce the risk in oil and gas exploration. And so we use 3D seismic, we apply our brainwave interpretation algorithms on the 3D seismic, and thereby we reduce the risk. And we increase the likelihood that we'll find rich deposits of oil and gas hidden in the subsurface by separating the high-producing wells from low-producing wells.
It's definitely a risk reducer, and that's really the kind of business, I think that's what we geologists are. We can never eliminate the risk totally, but we need to keep eliminating the risk until the economics are skewed in our favor, and then we can make money.
3D seismic has been shot all around this area, out here and out here, and with the fiber-sized trucks and the geophones, and the 3D seismic has been processed, and our brainwave interpretation technology has been used on it to generate contrast maps between thick limestone and thin limestone, and we are searching for the thick limestone.
Now those locations are determined by geologists and geophysicists and our event resolution imaging technology.
On this well right here, the location was discovered with a phase elongation, and we also used thick versus thin limestone contrast map to discover the location.
We combine these things together in order to reduce the risks of where we want to drill.
Yeah, Dan and I wrote an article we published it in the American Oil and Gas Reporter in 2005. I think it was February 2005. And it had some theoretical stuff that Dan mostly wrote about the technology, and then the application part was the stuff that I had done in Washakie Basin and Green River Basin and applying that technology in a case that was a success. It was fun to do. Dan's great to work with, easy guy to work with, definitely a good thinker. We also gave a talk at the Midland Geophysical Society meeting, West Texas Geophysical Society meeting in Midland, where we amplified on that paper, had more examples.
Precision Wells, in my opinion, is going to be a company that represents the future of the exploration and production industry. They've taken a current existing technology and they found a way to enhance it and almost perfect it so that what we're doing is we are saving time, money, and resources when we're out there doing the production.
Using high technology to find things that in the past were difficult and maybe even impossible to find, but with modern technology we can uncover more things. Dan's technology falls in that category. We can find things that we couldn't 10 years ago.
And the Permian Basin is going to be an example of what a lot of worldwide basins are going to go through, a period of rejuvenation as we bring to bear this new technology.
We all like positive results, and certainly if they skew our results toward making money, that's what we're trying to do. We love finding hydrocarbons, but we better find them so that we can make money or we won't be in business. And I think Dan's technology is the right way to go.